Hi guys, welcome to the versatile classes. Today we are going to discuss about the literature. One definition of literature we can make. If language be the skeleton, literature is its flesh and blood. Literature gives flesh and blood to the language, and literature is a poetic form or any literary form. Today we are going to discuss about the lost child. The lost child has been written by Mulk Anand. The lost child is a short story. Stories have always held a great fascination for us, and interest in stories is as old as human history. So a short story is a piece of prose fiction. Whenever we are going to define short story, a short story is a piece of prose fiction and of a moderate length. Moderate means limited length. A short story is not a novel in a condensed form. A novel may extend over several years, but a short story covers a more limited time span. A short story demands a great mastery of technique so that an effect of brevity, unity, concentration and intensity is achieved. Brevity means shortness. Unity means unity, concentration and intensity is achieved. Every story has a plot. Then what is a plot and what is a story? What happens is the story. How does it happen is the plot. Plot defines how does the story goes through the narration. Every story has a plot. It is the sequence of events or incidents of which a story is composed. Mulk Anand, who is the author of the story The Lost Child, was born in Peshawar in 1905 and educated at the universities of Punjab and London. The plot of the story, The Lost Child, is like this. It is the festival of spring. A child who goes to a fair is enchanted by the spectacle of shops displaying various items on sale. SALE, sale is the noun. ACLL, sale is the verb. The child first wants to buy a toy, but his intense desire to possess the toy remains unfulfilled because his father looks at him red-eyed in his familiar tyrant's way. His mouth waters for the burfi, which is his favorite sweet, but he suppresses his desire because his plea means request would not be heeded. Heeded means not to give any attention to it. Next, he is irresistibly drawn by the colorful garland sold by a flower seller, but he knows very well that his parents would refuse to buy the garland for him. Later, he is possessed by an overwhelming desire to have the balloons with the rainbow glory of their silken colors. But he knows that his parents will forbid him on the ground that he is too old to play with such toys. He wants to listen the snake charmer's music that steals into the snake's invisible ears, but he knows that his parents will not permit him to hear such coarse music. Coarse means rough music. At last, forgetting for a moment, he thought of his parents' eternal deny from the root of deny, it is denial. Eternal deny, not to accept. Deny means not to accept. The child makes a bold request to allow him to go on the merry-go-round and turns to them, discover that they are missing. A full deep cry arose. Arise, first form is arose, within his dry throat, and with a sudden jerk of his body, he ran from where he stood, crying in red fear, Mother, Father. Tears rained down from his eyes, and he is flushed. Flushed means became red. Flushed face was convulsed. Convulsed means violent movement with fear. Here the story reaches a climax, a point of maximum emotional intensity or revelation. A man takes pity on the panic stricken. Panic stricken means terrified. Panic stricken, and tries to console him by offering sweets, a garland, balloons, and a ride on the roundabout. But the child is no longer satisfied by such things. His foremost longings means desires, his foremost longings is to find his parents, without whom he is lost. I want my mother, I want my father. The story can be interpreted in two ways. At the surface level, it appears that the child in the story, like any child, longs for attractive things. But once he loses his parents, he loses interest in the things he asked for earlier, and insists on finding his father and mother. But at the deeper level, or at the metaphysical level, the story is symbolic. The child represents human beings in general. The fair symbolizes the world. The attractions in the fair appeals to the senses. Senses means we have five senses. Appeals to our five senses. The parents in the story represent God. The lost child represent human beings who are lost in the pleasures of the world fair and have lost touch with God. This much is the plot of the story, The Lost Child, which has been written by Mulk Anand, the Indian author. Thanks for watching, and I expect everyone should subscribe the channel and press the bell icon. Thanks a lot.